Americans are wondering why they don't have any money and why we're in such dire financial straits. In order to answer that question, we really need to look back in time in history. In 1908, Senator Nelson Aldrich formed a committee to examine the banking practices in the United States and to break the money trust held by the New York banking establishment. What's not widely known, however, is that Senator Aldrich met with a small handful of very powerful bankers on Jekyll Island, a resort island owned by the Rockefeller family just off the coast of Georgia, in 1910. It is in this secret meeting that was held that banking legislation was drafted that ultimately led to the creation of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve Act was unlawfully enacted by Congress and signed by President Woodrow Wilson over the Christmas holidays in 1913. It created a private banking cartel made up of the largest commercial banks in New York. Since this institution's been in operation, it's received no significant congressional oversight. For that matter, the value of our currency has dropped about 96% due to the inflationary policies of the Federal Reserve. A growing number of Americans are waking up to the realization that the Federal Reserve is nothing but an assault on our liberty, and are therefore now calling to end the Fed.
Most of what the government does is unconstitutional. Probably the most egregious unconstitutional thing is the Federal Reserve Act of 1913.
Fed! End the wars! End the Fed! End the wars! End the Fed!
Congress had no authority to print money. They had no authority to give that authority to the Federal Reserve, which is a private organization. If I'm a police officer, I can't hand you my gun and ask you to write traffic tickets for me.
End the wars! End the Fed!
What you can do is stop using Federal Reserve notes. Now, that sounds a little bit drastic, because what else is there? Well, Article 1, Section 10 explicitly says that the states shall not use anything but gold or silver coin as tender in payment of debt.
Where's the Fed? The dollar is dead!
Barter. Offer people silver. If you're buying something that's expensive, offer them gold.
That's why we need to end the Fed.
Offer them something other than Federal Reserve notes. This is not difficult. We used to do this in second grade. You've got an apple. I'll trade you. I'll swap my banana for your apple. Did I just pay for the apple? Well, yeah, in a barter system I did. The only reason for money is to make exchange easy. You know, I exchange paper money for your apple, then later you can use that paper money to buy a banana. But the end result is that you traded your apple, you sold your apple, you bought a banana, and you used, you know, paper money. Paper money is like poker chips in a card game. They have no value in and of themselves, but they are the medium of exchange during a poker game. Now, if you sit down at the poker table and I bring out my red, white, and blue poker chips, what is the first question you have to ask before we even deal cards?
What value?
How much are they? Is it penny, nickel, dime? Nickel, dime, quarter? How about $1, $5, $10? Now we're really playing serious poker. So what would happen if I changed the value of the poker chip in between each hand? As we're shuffling the deck, now I've got to tell you what the poker chips are worth now. Well, that sounds ridiculous.
Sound money!
Where do we want it?
Now!
At the end of a poker game, we count up the poker chips. If I've got most of the poker chips, it means I won. It also means you probably lost. Now, what about this poker game if I can reach behind me and pull out another tray of poker chips during the game? What happens to the value of your poker chip? Now the value of your poker chips is cut in half because there are twice as many poker chips. Did I win at poker? No, I cheated the game because I invented poker chips that weren't in circulation before. That is the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve continues to print new money. They continue to add poker chips to the game. You wonder why you can't win a hand of poker. It's because the other guys are cheating.
They take what they want and do as they please.
And the Fed.